Give me a moment, people. Alrighty. Make sure I've got a decent camera angle. Yes, I do. Alrighty. Hey, everybody. I'm Rob the Builder. Can we build it? Yes, we can. Now, today being Sunday, at least in most parts of the world, it's actually early Monday morning here in Australia. Do you care? I doubt it. There we have it. Be that as it may, it is Sunday in most parts of the world. And that being so, what we're doing is Armour Day. Now, Armour Day is where, unsurprisingly, we do armour. Mostly we're doing the T-34, and we're going to start doing some of the upper hull work. Now, what my plan with this particular kit is, I will illustrate. Give me a moment. I've got the lower hull there as well. No, why would you do that, Rob? And yeah, we're also going to be looking at a toy I was given. This little number. A Staghound armoured car. So we'll have a bit of a look-see at that. Now, in the meantime, whilst it's not essential for our purposes, I'm going to grab that. That's into the lower hull. There's a whole stack of work I meant to do during the week on that, but that's okay. But I will utilise that to illustrate what my plan is with the upper and lower hull. Now I know what you're going to be thinking. Why don't you just fucking put them together, son? Why don't you just put them together? It'll all come together, people. All will be revealed. Now, voice, let's get you a decent viewing position, shall we? That's about there, looking. It's generally not bad. Get that light up there. We're going to flick our light on there. There we go. That's not looking too. I should brace your eyes for the light. There we go. Can you see the light? I believe you can. Now. Oh dear God. Whilst this is something that does not affect my modelling in any meaningful capacity, got a bit of a sore back at the moment. I've got a heat pack on it. I'm here to tell you, people. Oh dear. Oh, it's a wee bit good. And I just realised I also don't have the instruction on the video on it. Anyway, my plan, good people, is ultimately to have it such. When this is in position, I want to show off the interior, which is potentially quite specky. There's a lot of detail in it. I can go bing and show the interior. And in fact, there is one thing we can do, I believe, for our immediate interior. Do give me a moment. Assembly instructions would be advantageous. I'm sure you'll agree. Now, I know they reckon to put them in first. Okay, no, sorry guys. I'm also waffling on a couple of things that should be put in prior to our wall. Oh, I see why. Right. Right, there's a bit of work to go in on those. So, but anyway, that's our plan. The longer term, good people, is to get that. Well, I'm not going to glue that into position ultimately. What I will ultimately do is leave it unglued and then, as I said, bang and replace. That's the theory. Now, let's get onto this upper hull caper. We can also go into some other detailing along the way, that won't hurt us. Now, first thing, one thing I do want to do was that, which you wouldn't have heard, hopefully. It was me blowing my nose. We don't need that much detail, but never mind. We now are supplied with it. And now up a hole. Here we go. Right. Right. Most of this looks fairly straightforward. Now, here's a question. Do I want to do these hatches open if that's an option? Answer, yeah, probably. I need to mask a wee bit on the airbrushing. It's done on certain parts. That is also fine. I still haven't worked out what the deal is with this brass wire cape. It's something of a mystery to me, I've got to say. If you can see that part of the that go B31 goes on the OK. Now I see. So where's B31 go? These are interesting little mysteries. You're not telling us. Three good people. All willing to go B31 on either end of a brass wire. It doesn't actually say where they go. Just rather curious to say. We'll come back to that little bit. So, getting back to, no, we don't need to go that far back. We only need to go this far back. So we'd be best served putting our 14s, 15 first here. Going to. Okay, now. 14. Here. Be a long thing. I've just dropped something on the ground. Give me a moment. And part I've dropped. Give me a moment. Whilst I should get up for this. Hang on. Hey. Ah. So many parts in these different things, man. Wait, I just realised something I should do. Excuse me a moment, kids. Ooh, okay. Anyway. There we go. Yeah, no, I'm not doing a whole lot right now. Give me a moment, kids. There we go. Let's have a look at it. We've got boxes. Boxes of parts. So 14 and 15 we're looking for. One of these ones. How do I do this? I'm starting to think I've misplaced to complete the bag. These. This keeps up. I might just get on to looking at the bloody what's it called? Armored car. There counts. Oops. It's these were part of the some of the parts are cannibalized. I hope not. Hang on. One last look at a couple of spots. If not, I would suggest these are some of the parts that have been cannibalized by the dude who gave me this kit. Uh, A, B, X, yeah. All right. The whole stack of 3D printing required for this, and I'm going to get that fixed. Grumpy. All I'm saying. But what we can do, easy equation. I actually think this is why he gave the stag hand. I think he's feeling a wee bit guilty. Okay, let's have a look at this. Now, this is a wee bit funky anyway. We probably wouldn't get a start on this today anyway. By virtue of, I'm going to raise that up a bit higher for you. That's probably a better idea. By virtue of the fact I haven't washed it yet. Then there's the black wash to be done. But let's have a look at this, shall we? Now, I haven't even looked at this. I believe there's no interior to be done per se. That's going to make it much easier. That's why my mate would have got it for that single sticker there. New Zealand. don't know if he's actually born in New Zealand. Photo etched parts. Okay, let's have a look. Which means I'm going to need a whole fold at some point, which I already do need because I've got some other kits with photo etched parts. Canadian, the Manitoba Dragoons. Why doesn't if that is so? Ah, he's snaffled the decals for that. Okay, that's fine. So I can only actually do that. That's fine. I'm entirely comfortable with that. I was kind of considering that sort of New Zealand. He's already taken it, so I'm happy to do Canadian. Easy. Oh, this becomes some nice detail about the. Let's have a look at what we've got here. Gives us a good list of colours, I must say. This is the first time I've done one of these kits. So, let's have a look. Made in China. Really? I'll try to. I mean, it was given to me, so I've got a clear conscience. That one. Got some political issues, that's all I'm saying. Oh, jeez, I just got political on the bloody now, you reckon there is no interior on this? Let's have a look. That's step 5. Let's get down to. Oh, it does come with good detail on the suspension. I've never done suspension. How interesting. Good detail there. Interesting. So it goes all the way under there. Yeah, yeah. That must be turret. There are screws. Wow, how cool. That's kind of funny because obviously it's snug enough fit the wheels rotate casually. What of now? I would be well advised, in my opinion, to get a good look at some a book. Do I have a book with suitable armour on it? The other thing we do have here. Oh, well, complete with a pick, shovel. Interesting. Alright. The photo etched listeners, P they are, okay. Alright. Let me an option on. Easy way to find out. Yeah, so there's an option on the type of camera. But what it looks. Identify which is the maybe it cuts down to yeah, most of it is exterior. The photo which comes in on rear there, and yeah, right. All right. So our first steps would be pretty much just to you assemble pretty much just the body of the car. Where it all starts happening. Photo which doesn't kick in until be a while in the process by the looks, and there will be much rejoicing. That'll give us plenty to work on. But I'm touring about stage 6, so that should give me 2 or 3. Given that Armour is not my main deal. Alright. Alright. Now, what would be a good idea, I would suggest, is to have a bit of a look-see at the parts. We got a few options here, actually. I have a cunning plan. I do, honestly. Give me a moment. Still get a mouthful of coffee. Back. Now, I'd also like to do a wee bit of research into this particular vehicle. Now, is there any neat little, we're just going to have to butcher the bag a bit. Butcher the bag, butcher the bag. Oh dear. I want to rip that a bit further down. Yeah, just to make it easier to get the parts in. Lots of small stuff, but that's fine. Ah, there's our suspension. Very nice. Good detail, not much flush, I'm happy to say. Is it flush or flash? I always track of this bit. Would be better off doing it. What's that? Put these back into here. Let's look at these before we look at the photo etch. I probably don't actually need to take this out of the bag. Okay. Yep. Click, click. Righty, there's the turret base. There's obviously the body of the car. Alright. Now, that will mean there's a whole stack of things that need to happen here before I can really get onto that. And I will want to be doing some brushing to make some parts of that black before I get onto sundry other colours. Let's have a look at the photo etch. Let's get the back body out. There we go. Come here, you. That's a piece of paper. There's something I might be missing there. There's that part. That's the front. Okay. Well, they're not as big a hassle as I think. They're quite a mythical beast. People say, nah, stuff, man. Not a biggie. Now, what we can do is, and here's a cunning plan if ever there was, I can probably look at washing that while that dries, whilst it is supposed to be Armour Day. Yeah. There's a couple of things we can do on some other builds just in the short term. And we'll take it from there. So, what I'm going to do is, obviously I'm going to need to be able to open the bags, put them through a wash. But I will want to return them, hopefully. We might get onto, depending on various factors, is a black wash. This once the actual soap and water has dried. There's no something kind of freaky on my 109G that I'm building. My own peace of mind, I'm going to have a quick check on something there. It's not one of the things I was going to have a look at today. All right. There, I guess. Why don't I just put it in the bin, Rob? Jeez, really that hard, is it, mate? That hard, petal? What we can also do, once they're properly dry, I want to try and return as many to their bags as I can. Lots of small pieces, and I'm not really keen to run the risk of losing them as a personal take on things. Next. Down. Alrighty. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash these, come back. In fact, I'll keep my mic on whilst I'm washing these, as at least I can be, well, potential viewers here waffling about. I'm not going to see any responses, but at least you all know I'm in existence. Now, I may have to move some dishes. What a frightening notion. Oh, no, I don't. Well, a couple. Oh, a couple. Deary, deary me. Now, as to how many of you actually choose to do this with your models, I don't know. I do, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing it now. The basic drill. Let's get us. First, make sure your sink's clean, kids. So, your kit in a dirty sink. Now, I would recommend mildly warm water. You don't want scorching hot. You're dealing with plastic, for fuck's sake, you know. Also, it's not like you're scrubbing hard here. You're looking to get the oil and grease and shit from the factory off. Nothing too heavy duty. Now, diddly. That's probably plenty. My hands. What I'll do is also get some paper towel ready, because after you've rinsed, yes, I rinse, wash, always repeat. No, I don't actually repeat, I just do it once. But what I'm going to do now, give that a bit of a, there we go, and use a bit of cold water to give it a rinse. Yeah, along the way, I'd pretty easily with my housemate that I'm doing this sort of behaviour. He has absolutely no need to attend to anything in the kitchen. I'm sure we can work that out. But I will confirm this with the chappie in question. Delete all that shite off. Next. Now, if I thought I'd slice that all the way through. Really, big boy? Really? There we go. There we go. Rinse. And finally, now when you dry this stuff, as far as the so the rinsing water goes, don't rub it, pat it. That's my single biggest piece of advice to you. Now the reason for that, kids, if you haven't worked it out for yourself, is because you've got a lot of small parts. They don't respond so well rubbing, but they do respond kind of well to patting. There's one. You guys can't see it, just except that there it is. You can't see it because I'm in the bloody kitchen, but hey, you might be able to hear that I'm rubbing there. That's on a big chunky piece. But the rest of that, we're going to just pat. Now, while we're waiting for the stag hound to dry, what we're going to do is actually some work on the Junkers that I'm working on, just to kill a bit of time. Then, when that's completed, I may as well get the stag hound wash. Just help us bring up all the detail. Because whilst I've got a few bits to wait for on the T-34. It's pretty easy though. And all right, now we can let that dry. And I shall be back, usually shortly. As you may have heard me wax lyrical to my viewers, I'm just been doing some washing of parts in there and there in the drying rack, so you may wish to not do anything in the kitchen, man. Moved you stand on a bit of heat for a moment. Boom. What's the forecast for today? It's not so foul. Now, people. Up. Now then, peeps. What we're going to do while we wait, and it shouldn't take too long for the stag hound to be dry enough for said blackwash. What we're going to do... Beck's not enjoying that so much. Now, let's pull this shit off. Even cardboard little fix up so we can potentially build this while we wait for the stag hound. Alright. It's starting to come together, I tells you. Alright. Now. So, let's see how. a question I can feel free to ask myself is whether or not I would choose to do any Schwarzglun touch-ups, because there is a little bit just there and a little bit just there. Whether I choose to do that with a hand brush or an airbrush, we'll worry about that decision later, kids. Right. I'm going to pull the part off with that. Let's have a look inside this. There's the part I think I might have taken off. That's okay, it's easy to put on. What's the point? Come here. Yes, I did. Boom. Well, at least I found it. That's all good. Most of that paintwork I'm pretty happy with, actually, I've got to say. Most of it. Of course, touch-up still required, and that's all good. It's all good in the hood, kids. It's touch-ups and stuff that can be done with a hand brush. I think we can get all of that knocked out later today in a different stream. Let's look at them. Really easy back on. Oh, tell you kids, oat packs, they're a whole definition of comfort at times. Now, there are other people out there who would heartily concur. There we go. Now, one thing I'm going to do, that's it, actually no, both of them. Blue box of bits. Where is my blue box of bits? Here's my blue box of bits. All my any bits that fall off, I'm going to put in here. very obvious reason. I'll be able to find them quite easily thereafter. Right. Yeah. Fairly soon I shall, once I finish taking all this off, I will, like as not, actually, decisions. What I will probably do anyway, regardless, is I'm going to go and see if the stack hound is ready for its blank question, which is to say, is everything dry on it? That's the bottom line of what I'm trying to suss out here, people. All right. Yeah. So, peel that. Let's attach to some others, okay. Okay. Mostly good. I could also consider putting on that rear tail. That's what I was going to check out in a minute. Give me a moment. What I was going to check out. All right. Alrighty. Have another mouthful of coffee. One thing I can consider is that if I'm going to be doing a black wash, get any and every part from any other kit the fuck out of Dodge. That shit gets messy. Find it kind of enjoyable, I won't deny, but it gets messy. Missing a part on that one? No. Fantastic. So, a few parts came off in that, but that's okay. The paintwork is mostly good. A few little fix-ups, but by and large, she's pretty. There's a couple of bits I can do there. pop that up here, however. Oh, no, that's just how it sits. Wow. You gotta say, with wheels displayed that far apart, I was entirely surprised that they were a bitch to land. Remain a beautiful aircraft in my eyes, though. Okay, that's all I was checking out, guys. Was whether that awkward-looking angle was correct, and the answer, yes. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'll be back very shortly. I'm hoping that the here's what my close look at now. That looks cool. What I've done, I'll show you. I'm pretty happy with how it's come up. If you look closely, gotta get the shininess off the. There you go. You'll see there's brass and gunmetal grey around the where the gun comes out, so it's like a nozzle. Then there's the gun. So that's how it's tied in. That's my theory. That's why I've done it that way. Pretty happy it's come up actually. Most of this 109 is looking very nice. Now, alright. I shall be back shortly. I will in fact go so far as to say I will be approximately 4 minutes if you put it to the clock. The reason I say that is because I'm probably going to nuke my oat bag as well. So as my bag will remain happy and friendly and nice. Alright, back in a minute, kids. Yeah, I'm good, buddy. I'll be back in a tick. I'll just drop something on the floor. I'll be with you in just a moment. All right, I'm back. Okay. Yeah, what I'm doing right now. Oh dear God. As a quick little aside before I continue, I did my back on Saturday. I go fishing every Saturday with a mate of mine. Slipped on this muddy river slope, and did my back, and I've got a heat pack on at the moment. And oh my Lord, all I'm saying, all I'm saying is I'm having to restrain myself from bursting into a chorus of sweet mysteries of life. At last I found you. Oh dear God, that's good. Yeah, the back's never a good thing to hurt, but hey, what you gonna do? It's not that bad. It happened Saturday. Now, bearing in mind that's Saturday my time, obviously. It's now Monday morning, fairly early Monday morning. It'll be okay by Wednesday, I think. It's just an experience you can always do without. Anyway, I got given a bit of a prezi, mate. The prezi is this. I'll show you. I'm actually going to take this over as the Armour build rather than the. Well, I will finish the T-34. I'm just waiting for the photo etch parts. But this, hang on, comes with all the bells and whistles, and even some photo etch. So yeah, that's the one we're doing. I had a bit of a look-see earlier. It doesn't come with any interior, but it does have a very nicely dealed undercarriage and such like. Yeah, what I'll do, in fact, before we start, I was about to give these a black wash, and I will too. But first I need to get some stuff out of the way. Hey, I'm not just going to quickly show you too. I'm going to do a second stream a bit later on today. I'm actually speculating about doing, because what I was doing was Sunday, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday evening, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. But I'm thinking of doing this because it sort of works better in time zones. Anyway, yeah, so there's where I've gotten to with, that's an interesting technique of pain management that, I have heard similar things and I haven't tried them, and clearly I'm just not adventurous enough on that front. Perhaps I should take that on board. Anyway, yeah, here's our Junkers at the moment. It's starting to look a bit pretty. I'll see if I can get a slightly better piece of lighting for it so it's not quite so glary. That's probably showing some of the colours a bit better. And the underside's looking really nice. A few little touch-ups required now. That's where we're at with that. And then we've got, here's our 109. There's still bits and pieces to be done on that. Mostly I'm pretty happy with it. There is a Bit of touch-up work done because I did a mask there, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'll do a bit of chipping along that seam. And because there's an exhaust manifold there, I'll just stream that through there, and that'll cover all of that up. And no one will see a thing, and we'll never speak of it again. Get a bit of hand brush action here for some dunkelblau, which is that colour there, just to tell you that there's a bit of yellow there. But mostly, again, I'm fairly happy with where we're at with that. So yeah. Boom. The meantime, I'll tell you again, buddy. That hot pack on the back. Oh, a poet, and I didn't know it. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop right there. Now that's for the 109, and that's for the 109. Now what I'm going to do, get these out of the way. If I'm going to do a black wash for the Stag Hound, there's going to be a lot of very messy stuff around here. I don't necessarily want to get a whole stack of black. Oh my god, I suddenly had an AC/DC flash. Instead of back in black, a whole stack of black. Oh dear, showing my age there probably. Do you even know who AC/DC are? They're probably from a whole other generation to you. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Now, next. Okay. We'll get this out of the way because I also don't want paint on that. So, this is where thick enamels are the GO. GO. GGO. Either of these even have vague amounts of... No, they don't. They're just shite. They're hammered. It's no good for them at all. The thing about a black wash is you want a brush that you're willing to sacrifice to a fair degree. Even though that one's nailed hard. That's probably as good as it's going to get. Soften that up a little. Alright. Now drying areas. Yeah, there we go. So, what we'll do, get a truckload of paper towel. That's what we need, that. Oh wow. There's something I'll see if I can get you a view of. It's just the way the lighting is currently sitting on my 109 makes it look kind of cool. Give me a moment, I'll see if I can show it to you. Let's see how we go. That's Yoda. Be with me. There we go. Maybe it looks kind of cool. Just a thought. Maybe it's something somehow it makes it look like it's got a searchlights from the night sky on it. I don't know. Gives me a warm and fuzzy. But there you have it. Yeah, don't know, man. That's not really the issue with this one. What was the point is, I don't know if you ever seen me do this. Now, I don't know if you do this, if you know anyone else who does. This is how I tend to bring up a lot of the detail on the kits. You don't mix them together. It doesn't really. The matte or gloss in this circumstance is pretty inconsequential. What we're gonna do? Get this shite off. That over there, or you can guarantee that's going to wind up on my arm. We'll go around that one. Delay. Then as an opinion, would it be considered semi-gloss? Don't know what it would be considered. It'd be considered something. That much we can conclude, yes. Wonder what the effect would be. Kind of strange, wouldn't it? All jokes aside. Maybe get a bit into that. That's better. Let's bring that up nicely. There we go. Don't know if you heard that, my alarm went then. I have a number of alarms. That one's just to make sure that I'm up. Yeah. Let's count the times that I've. There we go, and now we've got that detail coming up quite nicely. Now, next. See if I can. Lewis. Yep. All right, now be the side we actually need to hit here. I'm going to pop this aside to dry. There we go. Don't know exactly what that part is, or rather, what function that serves specifically. But yeah, there we go. All the details starting to come up nice there. We'll pop him. Excuse me a moment. Up or and also, if you give me a moment. Yeah, well, I use doesn't really matter. What I'm ultimately using is it's more about a thick, luggy black. And an enamel usually works really well, I find. Excuse me a moment. The only reason I'm not, in any ordinary circumstance, I'd probably go the matte, but because it's just a wash, yeah, it doesn't really make that many odds. Bearing in mind, I'll be putting undercoat, a cark black, that's for the steel pre-coat, and then so whether it's a matte or gloss black wash is it's pretty much of a muchness, you know. That's my theory. First, read the idea. Yeah, I got the gloss because one time I couldn't get matte. So what do? Given the purpose, concern wasn't there. As I said, it's not like it's going to be that visible as a particular sheen or not in this used in this manner. Of course, I only really want to do the places where there's going to be some detail to bring up. I don't really need it all over the whole panel. Alrighty. There we go. Off we come. And the detail comes up, is the theory. That's how I go about doing it. As I mentioned earlier, I think I first read about it in a book. I thought, you can't be serious. Why would you do that? It didn't seem to make any sense to me. And a friend of mine who's taught me a lot said, yeah, you can. And it's up to the individual. I made sense. I gave it a whirl, and I really like the results, so I've done it ever since. And there you go. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, like I said, if it's gloss or matte. The only reason I've got the matte on hand is if I run out of gloss, which in truth I'm unlikely to do. So, hey, yeah. Yeah, they've got doors on both sides. Most considerate. What are you going to do if one door gets hammered? Answer, use the other one. Righty. Wipe, 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 wipe. Dee, 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 dee. Sorry, I'll quit. There we go. All right. Yeah. It's actually quite a process and it takes quite a while to do the whole lot. The time now, 6. I want to be done by about no later than 7, so as I'm going to be back on. And now that's my time, obviously. A few things I'd need to attend to. Before then, the least of which is probably getting myself some brekkie. Okay. Okay. Top. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. I don't mind this sort of armoured car, actually, I've got to say. That'd be fairly mobile and quite effective. See why that'd be good for infantry support. Granted, they wouldn't have the grunt of a tank, but they'd be mobile. And, yeah, see their merit. Oops. Finally. Well, it's not this finally for that part. One thing that's kind of advantageous in this instance is the because there's no interior, pretty much just one side you got to do. Just follow the logic on it. Once you've identified that side, you are largely good. So how are your builds coming along, man? What looks at that? So you've got the option, you can put that one on if you want. Why would you? That looks kick-ass. Um, all right. Yeah, slow but sure. Yeah. Well, it does. A lot of that is a time thing. I'm in the fortunate position of having a fair bit of time to spend on my models. Um, Unsurprisingly, I then do. Um, a fair bit of time I spend on a lot of things, to be honest. And there's nothing wrong with that. All right. Here we go. Look at that. Details coming up nicely there. We'll zoom in a bit. There we go. A model of the day. Actually, depending on the size you're dealing with, you could probably do. I did once actually achieve something not too far off of that years ago. I was home all day, and it was a 1:72 split, and I wasn't bearing in mind, or bear in mind, I wasn't particularly or as fussy and fastidious as I am now. But yeah, I think I got it done in maybe one, maybe 2 days. Um, I kind of enjoy being a bit fussy with my builds. It's a personal thing. I'm a bit fussy with most things I do. That's what I do. There we go. These smaller bits are a little more tricky to do. You don't so much rub them as pat them, and all rub them. I'll show you in due course. We'll do these big ones first. Okay, nice one. Ooh, nice one, Centurion. Like it, like it. So we can just get away with doing bang bang because these sides are barely smooth. So it becomes a little inconsequential at that juncture. There's a great word. Juncture. I'm rather fond of it because a guy named Richie Benno was a sports commentator, well, good commentator. Was a big one for talking at this juncture. He's a fine player at his day. But yeah, juncture. There's also a big one for fixture. Yeah. Ah, that's convenient. I wonder if that's. They've actually got the upper side position where it's easy enough to do this. And I can't help but think that maybe they thought that through. If they did, boffo, good on them. Winning. Really helps my take on life of the universe and everything I tell you. Um, and, and here we go. Now, we're going to do this part. just for proximity. It's really quite a sturdy parts. Giving it a white probably no issue. There we go. Let's have a look at these. Alrighty. No place there seems to be any real detail to bring up is on the front here. What about on these ones? Well, there are a couple of hinges we can bring up, so we'll get onto that in due course. Uh, the first one I'll be doing suspension. That'll be kind of cool. These have a couple of hinge bits to be made as well as for time, as well as I would like. Should probably go for maybe another half an hour, I reckon. You know, that, as far as that as it'll go. Then I'll be taking, I guess, it's not so much more extended break for about 2.25 hours. And then I'll be back. I'll be like General MacArthur. I shall return. Apparently, I am told, the local Filipino newspaper, General MacArthur's triumphant sounding "I shall return" was translated to "I'll be right back," which sort of loses its oomph in a pretty major way right there. But hey, what you gonna do? What do I want to get from the shops for breaking? Milk I need. That's one thing. Well, I said that was in reverse. I should be Yoda. Milk I will need. Let's watch out for these small bits. Yeah. What the deal is with that part? It intrigues me. Probably take a few steps to maybe loosen up. Mind you, just going for a walk will probably help loosen my back up. Even like the shops. You know what I ought to do one day, man? Actually, I just had an idea I did. I do sometimes, mate. It's true. I'm planning on doing a really long stream. Now, granted on any one kit, there are, of course, limits to what you can do. But in terms of you got to do stuff, let it dry, do stuff, let it dry. As part of that long stream, I could do, let's see how far I can get in the, it'll be, all my other kits will be sort of revolving around that one. So that's the main focus. And then, meanwhile, whilst things are drying perhaps or whatever, do the other ones. I like that idea. Yes, I do. And if it's a big aircraft, oh, got it. A lake. Now, I won't get it done, but I will get a lot of work done on it. There's plenty to do on it if I have it all prepped up. Oh, yeah, baby. There's a move. So that would give me, yeah, totally I'm doing that. There's a shitload of detailing in one of the kits I've got. So, yeah. Alright. Now, next. It gives me 2 weeks. I had planned to do it on the 21st. I suppose I don't have to complete other kits and it would be potentially advantageous. I'm going to use the length as the focus. Length will be decision. Now I've got to ask, is that a serious suggestion? Because I have heard dudes come out and say they do similar things. You can do that. Or at least once you've done stuff, you can get it. I have heard something similar to that, but I'm not sure how well the paint would respond. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't affect the paint. It all works okay on that front. Because if so, it's. I mean, I don't actually have a hairdryer on the grounds, and I'm as bald as a badger. But hey, doesn't have to be an expensive one, I get, does it now? Let's face it, you can get them for 4/5 of bugger all. I could probably get one from the. Okay, so that's. Okay. Yeah, I can see why putting it on high would certainly have. You need to be. How far back do you need to be with it? From a decent sort of a range? We're talking like, 16 inches. Yep. How far away that is. I can see why you wouldn't want to be either too high with the temperature or indeed too close. with the hairdryer. Thank you for that suggestion. That will be most useful. So those everyday items that or things that can really help you along. Righty. Now, these I probably won't do because, oh, actually, yes, I will. I need to be very careful with some part of it. Eh? Physically, the detail. Bring it there. Okay. There. Yeah, that was what I was wondering about. I could see why that would be. Yeah, that was what I was thinking. But yeah, I can see on low from a range. It'd be like on a warm day sort of a deal. What you want to, the effect you're basically trying to create. And I like the looks of that gun. Just a quick little aside. Yeah, I can see the merits of that as an approach. Now, question I might want to start asking myself: some of these smaller parts, it's if them actually need a like to come up with detail, or are they just individual bits of detail? Certainly some of them will. These do. Certainly see what they're. The interesting thing, by and large, and that sort of thing is less of an issue here in Australia, as you can imagine, because on a warm day, it doesn't take real long. But we're moving into winter now, and it can get quite chilly, despite our national reputation for hot weather. Yeah, that little tip will come in most handy. I think the bigger issue you get in Australia tends to be more one of it being quite literally too hot to do brushing. Yeah, 40-degree days not your friend. You don't run on not for airbrushing inside my apartment. That's what we've all been called really bad for your health. Now, we're doing all right here. Oops. Good in the hood, kids. think I can. Oh, actually, wait. It's there. We'll still hit. 15 minutes before I've got to do a boogaloo. Which I don't do the boogaloo. No idea what the steps required for the boogaloo are. Maintain that I will learn it just so that I can employ that phrase. And if people question me, I can go, well, yeah, I can do the boogaloo. But at this stage, I do not know how to do the boogaloo, so it can hardly be said to be doing it. All right, that's that one done. Yay. Yeah, right. Dehydrator. Interesting. I can, of course, because now you know that's something that I'd certainly be interested in giving it a whirl. They don't have a dehydrator at the moment, but that's an interesting notion, I must say. I can see the logic. Yeah, you would want to use it for food afterwards, I would suggest, but if you had it for that specific purpose, maybe I'm just being too precious, I don't know. No. No, I don't think that's being too precious. I think I'm probably being on the Alrighty, I like the detail on the wheels. Yeah, I can see how that would operate. That's interesting. It's very interesting. It's falls into the category of stuff I would try on. I'd get. I think we all have bits and pieces of kits and stuff. But I'd get even. I've got part the kit that I've cannibalised from, so partial kit, give it a decent slap of paint, put it through its purpose, and see how it goes before I did a full one. But that certainly bears exploration as an idea, I tell you. That's very interesting. And you know, the more I think about it, the more I think, well, why wouldn't it work? Of course it would. Yeah, interesting. Yes. Again, thank you for that tip. That's most useful. First, I'll need to find out how much they cost. But beyond that, there's actually a stack of other stuff I need to get first. I want to get myself a modeling, what do they call it? Jig. When it's a 72 aircraft, there's a bit of water still in there. That doesn't really matter. Because that'll help with just general shit in the handling it or building my aircraft, which was what I do mostly. Here are you. Now, if I don't get this finished in the, well, I won't get this finished in the next 10 minutes, and that's fine. But I'll finish the rest of this and do get the steel on it. So next time on the next week, I can start getting some decent assembly or detailing going on it before we start getting onto the assembly. Yeah, that's a funny notion. Mm. Yeah, you'd get a unique flavour to your jerky too, wouldn't you? Wow, what's this flavour? Yeah, about that. Yeah, that makes sense as well. All right. All righty. It's them. Uh, yeah, that's the one. Yes, I can see this enamel flavour. It's a certain flavour of humble. uh, This is teriyaki. Is that to me? I can taste. That's funny. Hearing me. Yep. It's closer than I thought it was. That's the microphone to my mouth, that is. Deal. Alrighty. Now, we'll do these here. We will go there on the 44 gallon. So I assume these are 44-gallon drums. They look like to me. You have 44-gallon drums where you come from? I'm guessing so. I think most countries do. Here in Australia, they usually find them out on the outback farms. often used as for putting fires on on industrial sites. Don't know if that's what you call them. What's the point? All sorts of things. Yeah. You know, I often wondered about that. Um, and sometimes I do actually find myself answering, probably for the same reason that a dog licks its balls, mate, because I can. Um, as to whether, I think you probably have made quite a valid point. I'm probably being quite unnecessarily, what's the adjective I'm looking for? I don't know. But be that as it may. Yeah, have done now. And we'll do the pick. I kind of like that pick. This one. Don't know what that is, but I do like the pick. There's a trouble as well that goes with it. I think it's kind of cool. Yeah. Um, so, move on to some of these bigger bits. Going about 5. But again, I'll be back in about 2 hours. That one I'll be working on the aircraft. Mm. Well, hey, well, I think both answers are probably correct, really, aren't they? Let's face it. Um, you can't tell me that a dog's losing by licking its balls. Not having a bad outcome from it all, is it now? Come on now, let's not be shy. Um, yeah. Now I'm gonna do the wash on this thing. I'm gonna wind the stream up, like I said, for a couple of hours, and then I'll be back. Um, as a quick little aside, I read an interview with um, Ron Jeremy, who apparently in his younger days was capable of taking his own appendage in his mouth. He discovered this ability camp, school camp. I guess teenage boys trying to put each other up to God knows what else. And bearing in mind is rather well hung, discovered this ability, and when he relayed the information to his father, as to what he thought about it, was told, son, you just let the girls do that for you. You got to say, yeah, it's a pretty sage piece of advice. Now, wash this. I'm going to finish the black wash a bit later on, as much as anything else, because I want to get on with my aircraft in the next stream session. There's not much to touch up on either of them really, but yeah, I can finish that black wash and get the base coats down before next week, so that when the next Armour Day rolls around, I can then get stuck into the detailing. Probably take the stag, because I'm going to be waiting for 3D printing parts. I will in the meantime take the stag hound on as the primary work for Armour Day. The T-34 will, of course, but hey. One thing I don't like about doing a black wash, the amount of shit you got to get out of the brush. Still coming out. Dear, 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 dear. Next one will be in about 2¼ hours. I'm just going to duck off, get myself some breakfast, attend to a few other bits and bobs. Then I'm going to come back and work on the Junkers and the Messerschmitt. I want to get them pretty much to the point where I can get onto the decaling with both of them. And then obviously get all of that done. That's the nuts and bolts of it all. Alrighty. Boom. All right. Now, you come here. Give me a moment. Lights out. Yeah, it's a time zones thing. I'm sure you're familiar with the drill. Yeah, I'll do my. Here we go. Yeah, right. Well, I'm off. Yeah, for just. I'll be back in about 2¼ hours. That'll be 9 in the morning here in South Australia. And yeah, very different time in where you are. Anyway, I will be back. Well then. And I'll do a more extensive wind-up of the streams announcing my other platforms. Then I'll not be damned. I might as well do it now for any other viewers on my other platforms. I want multiple platforms, people. But yeah, yeah. What the hell? I might as well trot them all out. I am Rob the Builder on Twitter, Facebook, and Discord, and Robster the Builder on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Follow, like, or subscribe, people. And on that note, I will see you in, as I said, about 2¼ hours. Indeed, I will see you in 2¼ hours. See you later.